Welcome to Sabbath School with Mako. Today, we're jumping into the story of Joshua and Caleb. It's an absolutely incredible lesson about courage, about faith, and about what it looks like to live a life that's completely surrendered to God. So, let's start with a question, just to get us thinking. What if that biggest obstacle you're facing right now, what if it isn't actually a barrier, but an invitation? You see, the story of Joshua and Caleb shows us that our perspective on our challenges, well, that's often the thing that matters most. All right, let's get into it. The heart of their story kicks off when 12 spies are sent to check out the promised land of Canaan. Now, they all saw the exact same things, the same land, but they came back with two totally different reports. And the difference is just stark. You can see it right here. 10 of the spies came back with a report that was soaked in fear. They talked about giants and how they felt like tiny grasshoppers in comparison. But then you have Joshua and Caleb. They saw the same reality, but they came back with a report of faith. They said the land was good, that the battle was winnable, because they knew the Lord was with them. This quote, wow, it just perfectly captures their mindset, doesn't it? While everyone else was cowering in fear, Caleb's response was immediate. It was confident. He didn't deny the challenge was real. He just magnified his faith in God's power, cutting right through all that noise of doubt. So the turning point here wasn't about the facts on the ground. I mean, the giants were real. The cities were definitely fortified. The real issue, the crucial point, was the choice of how to interpret those facts. It was a choice between fear and trust. And this gets us to a really important idea of what faith is. You know, biblical faith isn't about pretending challenges don't exist. It's not about ignoring the giants in the land. It's about looking right at the reality of those giants and then making a choice to believe that God and his promises are bigger and way more real. That one single choice to trust God shaped the entire rest of their lives. It wasn't just a flash of bravery in one moment, it became their foundation. And we see this play out in such a powerful way, even decades later. Okay, now fast forward 45 years. Caleb is 85 years old. And at 85, what does he ask for as his inheritance? Not some peaceful little valley, not an easy retirement spot, no. He asks for Mount Hebron, the very place where the giants he saw as a young spy were still living. He wanted to finish the job and prove that God's faithfulness never, ever expires. Joshua's life, on the other hand, shows us a different side of this surrendered faith. As the leader of Israel, he could have taken the best land for himself right at the start, but he didn't. He showed what a true servant's heart looks like. He made absolutely sure that every single tribe got their inheritance before he even thought about claiming his own. His life was all about God's glory, not his own personal gain. You know, the lives of these two men are really an invitation for us to shift our own perspective. They teach us that how we choose to see our circumstances can literally change everything. So let's talk about what it means to see our own lives from a higher place. Think about it like this. When you're standing on a busy city street, a huge skyscraper can feel overwhelming, right? It just blocks your view of everything else. But when you're in an airplane, thousands of feet up, that same massive building looks tiny. It's just part of a much bigger, more manageable pattern. And that's what faith does. It lifts us up so we can start to see our problems from God's perspective. So, what are the big takeaways from their mountaintop view? First, our lens matters more than the facts. Second, real faith doesn't ignore reality, it interprets it through the promises of God. We learn that we have to trust the path God is leading us on, and that blessings really do come to those who follow him wholeheartedly. And finally, that our whole goal is to live for God's glory, not just for ourselves. Okay, let's bring this all home now. We all have giants in our lives, don't we? Challenges that seem impossible, fears that feel like they're paralyzing us. The story of Joshua and Caleb is our invitation to look at those giants differently. So I want you to ask yourself, what is it for you? What is that giant in your life, maybe in your career, your family, your health, your own spirit, that needs to be seen from a higher place? Not from the ground, where it looks terrifying, but from God's perspective, where it becomes an opportunity for his strength to shine. In the end, Joshua and Caleb show us that faith is an active choice we make every day, to see every single challenge through the lens of God's promises. Thanks so much for joining us. Next week, we're going to explore what it means to be heirs of promises, prisoners of hope.